All right. Well, welcome everyone to the first Women's Laundry Network event of 2026. As I mentioned, I saw quite a few new names, so thank you for those of you who are joining us for the very first time. So just there we go. So again, today's topic, we're calling it a little podcast party because we are going to all watch about a 15-minute podcast together on mindset and motivation. And then we'll have some discussion and some kind of activities revolved around the theme and the topics of the podcast. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind in the chat, just so we get a feel for who's here, to put your, well, you don't have to put your name. Your name is part of your Zoom. But if you have a business, rather that's a laundromat, or you work for a company, and where you are Zooming in from. So I'm myself, I'm Danielle Bauer. I work for CLA. I'm the executive vice president. I'm going to kick us off today, and I am zooming from very, very frigid cold suburb of Chicago. Hopefully, some of you are in much nicer locations. All right. Nubiana, I am going to turn this over to you. Would you like me to, do you want to share it so you can advance as you're going through it? Would that make it easier?
I
Or do you
don't
just want
have
to
a
tell me
preference. So
next?
let's keep it on your screen because you'll close out. So I
Yep,
think it'll be easier and I can just let you know when we're
sounds
ready to
good.
click. Okay, thank you so much, Danielle, for your support. Hi everyone, my name is Nubiana Aben. I'm located in Houston, Texas, and I have the privilege of working on the Women's and Laundry Network Task Force with a host of other women that are here to support you along your journey. And as Danielle mentioned, we do have a podcast or a TED Talk that we're listening to today. But before we get into that, I want for you all to take out a sticky note if you're at your desk or pull up your notes app. And I want you to think about one specific moment in the past 30 days where you took an interaction either with a customer, employee, or business partner personally. And if you aren't in the laundry business just yet, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of things that go on in our personal life, whether if you have kids and you're dealing with teachers or the dentist's office, even your parents. So I want you to, on that piece of paper, write down the identifier, the event title. So if you were in the laundry industry, an example that we have is the Friday pickup fiasco. And then I want you to fill in the blank of I felt blank. Maybe you felt exhausted. Maybe you felt overwhelmed. Maybe you felt diminished. So take a moment to do that. Keep that personal with you. You don't have to share that with us just yet. And everyone can see the screen, correct? Okay, perfect. We'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. If you're just joining in, put your location and the company that you either represent in the chat so that we all can get to know each other. And when it's feasible and safe to do, please come on camera because it always helps for us to not only get to know names, but faces as well. Okay. I think I'm going to give us another 30 seconds to work on that little note that you're leaving for yourself. You have three things on that note: the identifier, give it a title, and then write down what you felt. Okay. I think we're all at a pretty good stopping point. I want you to tuck that piece of paper away, whether it's a sticky or that virtual note. We're going to use some of the tools that we'll learn from Frederik today to see if we can retitle that story. Okay. I think we're ready to start the video, Danielle.
Are you good?
Okay.
Great. Welcome to this match. This match will take exactly 18 minutes. Okay? And you're all part of the same team. Mechelen. Okay? Hey guys, I would like to see fair play on the field, respect, and positivity. Is that okay for everyone? Cool. Good luck. 1 year ago, I decided I wanted to become a football referee. Not because of the money, though. I only get paid 20 euros per match, so I won't really get rich by it, will I? No. I decided to become a referee for two other reasons. One, to stay in good shape. Two, because I wanted to learn how not to take things personally. I can see some people nodding. You're probably thinking being a referee is the perfect environment to learn how not to take things personally, isn't it? Because the spectators hardly ever shout encouraging or positive things. No. Oh, what do they shout? Come on.
Loser, are you blind?
Yeah,
Loser.
Good. As a referee, I'm the scapegoat. Apparently, I'm always wrong. It's always my fault. And I wanted to learn how not to take all this personally. Because I really struggle with this. For example, when I drive slowly because I'm trying to find a specific location and somebody is just driving behind me, I feel hunted. Especially when they start honking and flashing their headlights. Yeah. I take it personally. I know I shouldn't, but it just happens. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Or when somebody cancels an appointment last minute, I get the feeling that I'm not important enough. Again, I take it personally. Even professionally. I'm a public speaker, like tonight, this is what I do. I give keynote speeches, and I really like it, as long as I can draw my audience into my story. Because the very moment I see somebody is not paying attention, for example, when somebody is looking at his smartphone, it just happens. I take it personally. Relax, you are safe tonight, don't worry. Feel free to take your smartphones and you can even start talking to your neighbor. I will not take it personally. Why not? Because now, here and now, I'm very conscious that this can happen. And more importantly, I have a strategy to deal with it. So tonight, I would like to share this strategy with you. Are you interested? Cool. Because I guess I'm not the only person in this room who sometimes takes things personally, right? Imagine you invite a friend to go to the movies and she replies, "Oh, sorry, I have to work." But you see a picture on social media of her having dinner with some friends that very night. Or imagine you really have worked very hard on a project. You're really proud of the end result. But the only thing you get is criticism. So you come home and you would like to wind down and share this terrible experience. But while you're telling your story, the other one walks away to switch on the TV. Now, who would take one of these situations personally? Show me hands, come on. Lots of you. Why? Why do we take things personally? Somebody says or does something and bam, we feel hurt, neglected, offended, betrayed by the other one. That's what we believe though. It's the other person's fault. He's responsible for what we feel. He's the one to blame. Now, hang on. Who says that? Which part of us is speaking? It's our ego. Our ego thinks that others should take us into consideration. Our ego doesn't want to be criticized. Hell no. Our ego wants to be acknowledged. I'm right. Is this what you want? Do you want to be right? That's exhausting. When my ego takes over, I'm fighting all day. I'm in a constant struggle with the rest of the world. And it drains my energy. Wouldn't it be so much easier to not take things personally? Because then no one has power over you. You're free. You experience much more harmony and connection between you and other people. Of course, because your energy can go towards nice things instead of endlessly battling against the things that drive you crazy. So the question is, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I know what some of you are thinking. I will make sure I will be happy by being right. Well, how do you do it? How to become happy by not taking things personally. You are standing at the kickoff of the match of your life, the match by which you will learn how to stop taking things personally. So as a referee, I brought my coin for the toss. And every coin has two sides, heads or tails, and they stand for two strategies. Two strategies to no longer taking things personally. Sir, good evening. You're the captain of this huge team. You can choose heads or tails.
Heads.
Okay. You're lucky, it's heads. Are you ready for the first strategy? Okay, here comes. First strategy. It's not about me. What do you mean it's not about me? This sounds weird, doesn't it? Because when I take things personally, I'm convinced it is about me. When I see someone is looking at his phone, I feel offended. I think, hey, I've put so much effort and time in this presentation. I want respect. I think me, myself, and I. Sounds familiar, no? Yeah. But in fact, it isn't about me. What if I try to look at it from the other person's perspective, asking myself, why? Why is he or she looking at his or her smartphone? Maybe he has just received an important message, one he has been waiting for. Or the topic of my presentation is not really his cup of tea. Could be. Or on the contrary, he finds it very interesting and he wants to take notes on his smartphone. Very smart to do that, by the way. I simply need to shift my focus from me to we, and I won't take it personally. If I try to see the intention of the other one, I make space for understanding instead of irritation. Does this ring a bell with you? When you put your son to bed, but he doesn't want to, he throws himself on the floor, kicking and screaming, "I hate you!" Do you take that personally? No, you don't, because you know this is not about me. It's about what he wants, what he needs. He's angry because he just wants to stay up a bit longer. That's all. So the first strategy to not take it personally is it's not about me. Look at the other person's intention. When a driver is tailgating and flashing his lights, he probably does it because he's in a hurry. It's not about me. You see? It's as simple as that. In theory. Because in real life it turns out to be a hell of a job. Do you have any idea, ladies and gentlemen, how many thoughts our brain produces a day? 50,000. And guess how many of them are positive? Only 10,000. So this means that's 80% of what we think are negative thoughts. That's a lot, isn't it? When you see two colleagues talking to each other and just then they look at you and they start laughing, do you think, oh, they must have noticed my new shoes and they want them too? Now, what do you think? Darn, they're laughing at me, they're gossiping about me. So it takes a lot of effort to correct yourself and say, hang on, I have no clue. They might be laughing about something that has nothing to do with me. So seeing the positive intention of the other one requires a lot of discipline and training. And that's why I became a referee. To train my brain not to take things personally. I train my brain an hour and a half a week, the entire period of a match. I say this for the football dummies. And now before the match, I'm warming up. Not only physically, but also mentally. I give myself some pep talk in the dressing room. Frederik, watch out. Lots of things will trigger you during the game. You're going to make decisions who some will not agree with. And they will shout unpleasant things at you. So I tell myself, Frederik, don't take it personally. It's not about me. They just want to be right. They simply want their team to win. You see, when I focus on the intention of the other person, there's no need to take it personally. When I apply this strategy very consciously, I admit it, I feel much more at ease on the field. When the coach, the players or the spectators do not agree with my decisions, I'm less easily thrown off balance. This strategy, ladies and gentlemen, works. But not always, unfortunately, because some words they shout at me, like here, do really hit a raw nerve. You're a loser. Choose another hobby. You know what? Go fishing. Ouch. Maybe they are right. Perhaps I took the wrong decision. Maybe I am a loser. Honestly, that's how I feel sometimes. Do you see this? Every coin has a flip side. When this first strategy, it's not about me, doesn't work, it simply means it is about me. I have to look in the mirror and question myself. As a beginning referee, I still feel insecure, especially me. I never played soccer. It is about me because it has something to do with my insecurity. I doubt about myself, or a part of myself that I haven't come to terms with. Do you see my point, ladies and gentlemen? Even if I know that a driver is only tailgating because he's in a hurry, I still take it personally when he honks or is flashing his headlights. So I must question myself. Probably I was driving too slowly. I'm aware of it. I just don't like that clumsy part of myself. Or why else would I take it personally, right? When I say, ladies and gentlemen, you are an orange. Who would take this personally? No one, right? Why not? Because nothing in you believes that you are in fact an orange. An orange? Unless, of course, that you are ginger and you feel bad because of that. Which is luckily not the case with me. But when someone says, Frederik, you are so selfish. Ouch, I do take it personally. And it only happens because I know there is some truth in it. If I'm honest, I'm aware of the fact that I do not always take into account other people's needs. When you are being criticized and it hurts, chances are big that this is rooted in your childhood. Maybe as a child, you were never good enough. When you came home with a 9 out of 10, they said, hey, and why not a 10? You see? You can only take things personally if it somehow touches a raw nerve. And that's the moment to give yourself some empathy. Ooh, this hurts, darn. I'm longing so hard for recognition, and I feel sad if I don't get it. You see? And you can also, why not, speak up. Just tell the other one what's going on inside you. Hey, I'm in the middle of my story here and you just walk away to switch on the TV. It feels as if you don't care about my story. It's not nice. By opening up, by being vulnerable, by telling what you feel without blaming the other one, you increase the chance that the other one will understand you and take your needs into account. You see what I mean? To conclude, how not to take things personally. 1, it is not about me. Look at the other person's intention. If that doesn't work, 2, it is about me. Give yourself empathy and speak up. Ladies and gentlemen, please, pretty please do not take it personally, but I really do hope that you will take a couple of things personally within the next hours and days. Only if you do, you can test out these 2 strategies. Imagine, just imagine, if we could all put this in practice, wouldn't that enhance our relationships enormously? Together we could create a better world. Wouldn't that be great? And as a referee, I even earn some money by it. Who would also like 20 euros to learn how not to take things personally? Show me hands. Show me hands. Oh, so many. Who still wants the 20 euros now? Who still wants the 20 euros now? Who still wants the 20 euros now? And who still wants them now? Why do you still want these 20 euros?
Because it's still 20 euro.
People may attack you, criticize you, or ignore you. They can crumple you up with their words, spit you out, or even walk all over you. But remember, whatever they do or say, you will always keep your value. Thank you.
All right. I hope you all were able to hear that pretty well. And if you were not, you still can access that independently. Let us know if you had an issue, because it could also impact how you engage with us today. Let's see. Did everybody get a chance to do their the initial exercise where they wrote down a recent experience that they took personally? If you're not on camera, I won't be able to see you shaking heads. Okay, you can put it in the chat if you did. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we have a couple of people who are ready to go to the next exercise. If you're still wondering, what was the first exercise? Think about an experience in the past 30 days where you took something personally. We want for you to identify who you took it personally with. Give it an event title, and then fill in the blank. I felt blank, right? So you'll need that as we move forward into activity number 2. This should have some animations, but it doesn't. Okay. So now what we want you to do is, now that we've had an opportunity to look and learn from Frederik's 2 strategies that he shared with us, really about intentions and then empathy and accountability. We want you to look at that situation that you noted, and based on the video, I want you to identify if it was an A side situation, or the head situation where it was about them, or a B or tail side situation where it was about you and some truth that you needed to hear. And as you think about that, we have a couple of questions that we want you to reflect on, given if you chose side A and side B. No need for you to speak this out loud right now, just a self-reflection exercise, and then we'll probably ask for some volunteers. And while you all do that, I'm going to move my screen around a bit. Okay. We'll give you about a minute or so to do that exercise. When you're complete, can you just put a 1 in the chat so I know when it's safe to move forward? And thanks for putting the the TED Talk link in the chat, team. Okay. Tanisha's ready. Allison's ready. Kelly's ready. Hey, Kelly. Nika's ready. Hey, Nika. All right. Rena, Nicole. All right. Hi, Rena and Nicole. Christina, Christian, Jade, Stacy. Okay, we have a good number of people ready. So now, by show of virtual hands, which basically is navigating to the bottom of your screen, looking for that sideways heart that says reaction, and raising your hands. How many of you realize that the story was actually an A side? It was never about you at all. So you would just raise your hand, your virtual hand in the reaction. Okay. All of us are perfect. Okay, we have 1%. Okay. Thanks, Raina, for being brave. Any other people realize that the situation was an A situation? That it was about the person that you were encountering, like what they may have been experiencing if we're thinking about what we just learned from Frederik. Okay. So a couple of people. Okay. Would anybody like to share how they realized that it was about them more specific, well, about the other person more specifically, as we think about when Frederik talked about if someone called you an orange, you wouldn't necessarily react because you're not an orange at all. So there was no juice that they were squeezing out of you, right? But in times of pressure, we all get squeezed and we may react in a certain way. And so that pressure creates the juice of so to speak, and things could be more around maybe financial needs that someone has or emotional needs that someone has. If you self-identified as someone that's saying that the situation was really never about you and about them, what do you think? Let's use some empathy. What do you think could have been going on with the other person at that time? And you can come off mute. I saw a couple of names. I can call them out if no one wants to. We can move on to the next one. Now, a quick exercise to close us out and before I transition us back to Danielle. So now that you all have had an opportunity to write an event, unfortunately relive a little bit of that event so that you can document how you were feeling, but then gain 2 new strategies to help you evaluate what that experience was and being able to assess it from 2 different lenses, focus on intentions and empathy. We had an opportunity to share some of that. And in sharing, the women were able to, our peers were able to really identify how they felt during that situation. And now that they've assessed that situation, we now want an opportunity for the broader group to look at that experience. And after learning about the juice and the coin or the orange and the coin, what's your number now? Like on a scale from 1 being what? So what is your transition from the beginning of our time today to where we are right now? So on a scale of 1 to 5, with maybe you started 1 being water under the bridge. I'm going to restate this because I jumbled that all up. But so if we're looking at your transition from before we learned Frederik's strategies to where we are right now, we have a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is water's under the bridge, and then 5, you took it deeply personal. And so you may have looked at your experience when we started today, and it still felt very personal. It probably still had a sting to it. That would be a 5. But now that you've had an opportunity to evaluate, you may be closer to being like, you know what, it was nothing about me at all. I can accept where they were and what they were trying to move forward with their own boundaries. Maybe it's you've gone to a 2 or a 1. So we like to see those transitions. Okay, so we have started at a 4, and now at a 1 or a 2, a 5 to a 3, a 1. Okay, and you're sharing this with your 10 and 8-year-olds. Thanks, Kelly. We moved from a 4 to a 2, a 4 to a 2. I personally moved from a 5 to a 1. So 4 to a 2. Okay. Well, that's it for me. I thank you all for allowing me to co-host this event with you today. I'm a new CLA member and also a WLN Task Force Ambassador. So you'll be perhaps hearing more from me as I continue to work with the other task force members to bring you more programs and support. Over to you, Danielle.
All right, thank you. If you do you want to keep up your slides? I might actually I'm going to show mine if you don't mind stop sharing, because I highlighted some different events. I highlighted just mostly the Women's Laundry Network events. Let's see.
Yeah, there's a Connect Live in Tampa too.
Yes. So first, I want to share virtual events. So I know a few of you in the chat said you don't have a laundromat yet, but you're looking. So every month we do a virtual workshop on how to start a laundromat. So our president it's an hour and a half, and he usually brings on a special guest. The one in February, it will be Yvette Morton Williams, she's on our board. She owns 5 stores in the Atlanta area, which I saw some of you are kind of from that area too. So it's about I think 30 minutes of content where he kind of goes through an overview of how to get started and then just opens it up to your questions. It's free. So I would highly suggest, if you haven't attended that, to register for that one coming up February 11th. If you by chance can't make it, either you can sign up and we do record it, or it is held every month. So you could make the next one. So for the Women's Laundry Network, our next 2 events coming up in February, we're doing one called For the Love of CLA, sort of themed around Valentine's Day. And it will be members like Nubiana sharing that are CLA members and members of the Women's Laundry Network, what sort of experiences they've had, how it's affected them. So we'll have a few different panelists for that session. And then in March, on March 18th, we are going to do a panel discussion we're calling it The Real Women in Laundry Industry, sort of off the Real Housewives, although we're much milder and tamer and nicer, but it's women sharing kind of that real story of what it means to own and operate a laundromat. There's a lot of content out there on YouTube and TikTok, and it shows laundromats as being just this easy business that makes a ton of money right off the bat. And so Not to say it isn't a great business. Obviously, I wouldn't work for CLA if it wasn't, but we want to share with you a real perspective on what it takes to get started and run the business, and what happens when machines go down in the middle of the night, or you get a call because the fire alarm went off, and just some of the real things to make sure you are really prepared. So that's going to be a fun event. So if you go to our events calendar, you can register for any of these. So we also, in addition to virtual events, do some face-to-face networking events. These are the ones coming up. So we have actually a couple in Florida. So January 29th will be in Fort Lauderdale, and Raina's right. And Raina will be at the February 19th one in Tampa. EVI will be doing a show during the day and then a Connect Live that night. And so for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Connect Live, they are 2-hour events held typically at a restaurant, and they're just purely dinner and networking. So pretty inexpensive, but a good way to meet others in your local area. So here's a few of the ones coming up in first quarter. If you go to this website, you'll see events that we're doing. I think we have everything until June scheduled on there. And then lastly, our sort of premier event of the year is we are doing a 1-day, full day workshop on May 5th in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, and it is called Excellent Women in Laundry. This is the third time we are doing this event. And we'll have, we have a couple keynote speakers. We'll have some panel discussions. And honestly, the biggest benefit of all is that we've had usually around 50 women attend, and it gives you a chance to network and meet other women in the industry. So this photo here was our very first one in San Diego. So we took a little group photo. Typically, this one as well is at a very nice resort. So it is just a great day. Again, meet other women in the industry. It does precede a large event we have called Excellence in Laundry, which is for kind of geared towards the multi-store owner. And again, that is a reception and then 2 days of content. The themes this year are on scaling up and wealth management. We do offer bundles. If you'd like to attend both events, you get a little bit of discount on both of those. So again, the website has more information, including some of our speakers and agenda and the registration, the various registration fees. So if you're a CLA member, we do have an early bird that ends January 31st. So if you think you do want to go, worth registering by the 31st to save a little money. All right. So I did record this. I will edit out some of the personal information, but it will go up on our YouTube channel. We have a women's playlist that not only will have this, but has webinars and content that we did all of last year. So if you want to go back and watch some of the things that we've done, you'll get an email with that link. Thank you so much, Nubiana. Nubiana put this all together. I think it's her first time facilitating. She did an excellent job, so we really appreciate that. And I thank all of you for taking some time this afternoon. Hope you got a little something out of it. And now we all won't take things so personally, or in our minds, we'll be like, is this a side A or a side B? So hope to see you at some of our upcoming events. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Audio Jungle.